Hello, everyone. Welcome to this panel discussion. This is episode 25. We are in season 3. I'm your host, Aarti Bagdi Gill. I'm CBSE resource person and SDG4 Global Ambassador. We are partnering with SDGs 2030, and in this season, we are talking about Model United Nations. Our respectable panelists on the board are Ms. Pushplata Thakur Chaudhry, AIF resource person, Dr. Vaishali Ghai, AIF resource person, and Ms. Prachi Verma Seth, AIF resource person. Welcome to this panel discussion to everyone. Today's topic of discussion is, of course, we are in Model United Nations series. So, under the panel of that, we are talking about human trafficking today. It's a very sensitive topic, and previously, too, we had talked about child labor. So, let's proceed our session further. We are talking about stop this human trafficking, but how we can stop it, what is this, what are the different red flags, and what all sensitive content is involved in this topic of discussion is here. Let's start with understanding this human trafficking. And for this, I'm going to invite Ma'am Pushplata Thakur Chaudhry. Yes, ma'am, please.
Thank you very much, ma'am. So today we are talking about human trafficking, and when we come to Model United Nations, this is one of a very important topic which has to be deliberated upon, which has to be talked upon, because human trafficking, as we know, that human trafficking is an act of transporting humans, and in order to benefit, because here they are treated as a commodity, and and they are sold from one country to the other. It is a very unlawful crime which is happening all over the world. So human trafficking happens in every part of the world, as you can see, and where a poor person is exploited, and maybe through force, abuse, manipulation, blackmail, all these things come into play when this thing happens. And it is a crime where people are moved, they're exploited, and where the people who are benefited through this are the traffickers. And it basically involves, like I've already said, moving people against their will. So here what they do is, who are the people who are targeted, who are the people who are recognized, and who are caught in these things, basically, when what we talk about are the women and people of all caste and color, even people of all ages are included in this. If you see that women are mostly brought into this trade and trafficking because of, and they are, they get into sexual exploitation, they are raped or they are sold. And 1/5 of the population of trafficker are little girls. And even men are taken into this manipulation of human trafficking, and they are brought up into forced labor, forced marriages, and organ removals. And even little boys are taken in, and they are recruited as soldiers. If you can see this, the middle poster here implies all this. And how will you recognize that who are these people around you who are having all these? You can always pick up these warning signs of trafficking. When you find somebody is there living with the employer, that means it is a flag, to a red flag for you to understand that maybe that person is being trafficked, or a person who's being paid very little for the job they are doing. And sometimes people have unstable living situations, unhygienic living situations. And sometimes a person you can see is very submissive or fearful. This also means that somehow they are being manipulated and they're held against their wishes. And or if somebody lives in isolation. And very important is when you see various signs of physical abuse on a person. That is when you can see that these that there is a human trafficking might be involved. Also, the red flags, this can not only in humans, also in little kids who you see around in your schools. When there are children involved, where you can see that the little children have unexplained injuries. You don't know that probably there is some kind of exploitation maybe occurring inside the house for the child. It is not necessary that the person is moved from the house regularly. The person can come back to their houses after being exploited as well. And as we move on to our SDGs, we are also paying a lot of stress upon this. Our SDG 8.7, our SDG 16.2, they raise their voice again to end, the modern slavery, trafficking in child labor. We do not see slavery the way we used to see it in terms of black and white earlier. We see it in very different terms these days. Here we see abuse, we see exploitations, and there is a violence against children. And let me tell you that these children are so small that they before I say anything else, I want to tell you that the $32 billion are generated in profit by human trafficking alone. And let me tell you, the people who are trafficked, the people who are being, considered as commodities here, are not even getting, one-fourth of what they are earning. It is going to the pimps, it is going to the managers, it is going to the people who are trafficking them. And a lot of help is required. So, and the person who is being trafficked, you can see, these signs you will see, they will appear very malnourished because people do not feed them. They are held against their wishes. They're not fed properly. Even if you see the children who are people who are ladies who are taken to the red light areas, they are being made to work for 30 hours, at a stretch. We're not giving any food or anything. So all these warning signs you can see ahead, they'll have speech behavior, they'll have no belongings, they'll have multiple passports, multiple keys. They will not have a peer group of their own age. They'll have people who are elder to them, and they're made to wear certain kind of clothes. They are, taught to be, to be accepted in different kind of groups and people there. So this is the kind of things you see in people who are being trafficked, how they are being manipulated. We need to raise awareness for all these, identify these warning signals, and we need to build strong relationships. So as we move forward in this panel discussions, okay, so one very major thing which we need to do is when we recognize these red flags, how do you know that this is also happening in your own homes with a child who's sitting in the next room in your house? How do you see this? All these electronic gadgets which you have given them. Now, crime does not need to have your child walk out of their bedroom or walk out of their houses to catch them. Your child can be sitting in their own cyberspace somewhere, You can see the perpetrators here on the right in front of you, how they are using the Facebook, the Twitter, everything, the digital media, how they're using your mobiles, etc., to reach the potential victims, and how they are catching these groups. And so they are trying to lure you through schemes. They're trying to lure you through, lotteries, etc., and giving you even job opportunities in different countries where they're telling, oh my God, you should come here. Leave that alone. Our children who are playing in their homes, they're playing video games, they are the social media is having such a simple way where you just buy a gift for your child, and where they're playing a game online, and suddenly somebody promises a gift where they need to, have to buy something from some online portal, and then sometimes they need to download a WhatsApp group, and suddenly they make some kind of they make some kind of a transaction for which they go into debt, and then to clear that debt, the child comes under the, becomes a victim of these traffickers. So all these online grooming recruitment tactics are taken up by different kinds of perpetrators, and they catch, not you never know who becomes a victim or who is caught by these people and is used as a child trafficker, because we don't know when to raise our voice, how to raise our voice. But let's we are thankful that a lot of government agencies have walked into this. Local NGOs are working into, labor groups are there who are trying to help people, but we need to identify them as a local level. We need to understand that we walk into our schools, when we walk into our neighborhoods, when we talk to our friends, our relatives, when we identify any such signs, we need to give them a way out and tell them that we are there, we are about to help them. Because the first thing is that the family has to accept, the person has to accept The community has to accept these people, that they have gone, they are being manipulated, and that we need to rehabilitate them. We need to reintegrate them into the system. And let me tell you that 80% of the time, people who are caught as victims are caught by their own house member, are caught by the people who are literally living in their own houses, people who know them, who they know, and who they are trusting. Especially when it comes to the children, little children, when you see these sudden changes, and mostly of people who become from have poverty and things like that. So I'll hand over the this thing to the ma'am again, and she can move forward to the top.
So relevantly said, ma'am. And though it's a very sensitive topic, and we had seen a lot of clips during this entire talk. So idea here is that this social media and this media literacy, it is having a lot of responsibility on the shoulder when we are talking about digital natives, right? So we are in an era where we are handling alpha generation. Of course beta will be coming soon, and we all are millennials basically. So this Gen Z and this alpha generation need a lot of grooming so that they do not get entangled. I still remember that game which was very much prominent during I believe 2020.
The
It was
blue
a
whale.
blue whale, yeah, the blue whale game,
The
and
blue whale
it
game.
was like something which was really scary, and it was like everybody was so curious that what is basically going on, and a number of people get affected. So of course this is really a topic of understanding, and it is of course to be discussed. So we all are educators here, so obviously we talk about the education system too, and nowadays we are taking NEP also into consideration for life skills and empowerment. So when we are talking about this human trafficking, let's take a turn in this session and move on for this empowerment, which is required by this generation to make our future better. So for this, I'm going to invite Dr. Ghai. Yes, ma'am, please.
Thank you, Aarti ma'am. As you said, yes, it is a very, very sensitive issue, and the topic we need to discuss, and we need to actually save our future, that is students. Through education, how we can do that. So when we talk about the life skills and empowerment through education system, and considering this human trafficking, taking MUN perspective. So let me start with the education part, because we first of all we need to maintain the self-confidence among students and self-esteem. Because what happens is one of the key factors that we say that individuals vulnerable to human trafficking. And when we talk about this important key factor is low esteem. So we need to maintain this thing. And the lack of confidence is also, and lack of awareness is also one of the important factors that we need to consider, so that we can teach our students, our children through education systems, so that they can be aware of all these things. So when we talk about education system, the education system specially focuses not only the nurturing self-confidence, and students should know and they develop that courage to say no to exploitation. That is one of the very important part that education, we people, we educators have to teach, uh, explain our students that, and give them the courage and the confidence, so that they can say no to the exploitation. This empowers the individuals and our students also to believe in their work. Once they get the education, they have that confidence, so they start believing in their work. They recognize, or they'll be able to, I should say, recognize the suspicious activities if they see, or any behavior if they see around, and they can avoid being manipulated by false promises of job, like they get some job or they'll get education abroad. So such false promises, they are being manipulated. So they should be aware of all these things. So this education actually, they transform our victims into survivors also. So, as ma'am said, okay, we are having some victims and we are having certain SDGs also. They are playing very good and vital role. Similarly, education also. This education not only transforms these victims into survivors by helping them rebuild their confidence and identity through counseling sessions, giving some vocational trainings, and develop some skill building in them so that again they come up with some self-esteem and the confidence again. Another thing I would like to add is about the decision making and problem solving, because education teaches us this. When we talk about human trafficking, it thrives especially on poor decision making due to misinformation, or I can say desperation. An education system that promotes especially the critical thinking and decision making, that equips youth. Yes, they equip youth with the ability to evaluate choices. And now, once they are having that confidence, they can see the foresee or consequences also. Like, suppose if I give you an example of a child or a person offered some high paying job abroad. So if he is educated, if he has that knowledge, having that confidence, learns to question the source, try to verify the document, and can seek guidance before making any firm decision for that. So education empowers them to find some legal, safe, and informed solution also, rather than falling prey to these traffickers. And another important thing is this education gives them a strong communication skill and assertiveness also. So these traffickers often exploit, we know that they often exploit silence and fear. So through education, these individuals, our youth, students, they learn to communicate assertively. They'll be able to express their concerns and can seek help when in need. They can seek help from the trusted sources, because that should be with the education. So communication skills, when they get, they empower themselves to report suspicious activities also. So at the end, I just would like to say that education is not only a tool for literacy, but a strong weapon against exploitation. And by building the life skills, schools can act as the first line of defense against human trafficking and empowering our youth to be aware, assertive, and capable of making right choices. Thank you so much.
Truly said, ma'am, and sharing valuable ground level insights that we have to raise the self esteem of the children. We have to make children more confident. They should be, they should not hesitate to share their, point of views. And of course, vocational trainings are playing valuable role. And nowadays, CBSE is also playing vital role on focusing life skills for the children. Now we are taking turn, and again we are going to make this discussion further with the help of this topic, that is community engagement and activism. And for this, I'm going to invite our next panelist, Ma'am Prachi. Yes, ma'am, please.
Thank you, Aarti ma'am. Imagine if someone you know, a classmate, a friend, or even a neighbor, suddenly disappeared and no one knew why. Sadly, for millions of children around the world, this is the reality of human trafficking. Human trafficking is often called the hidden crisis, but the truth is, it's not hidden at all. It's everywhere. Nearly 50
Excuse me, ma'am,
million
can you
people
be a
are.
bit louder? Can you be please
Yes,
bit
ma'am.
louder? Yeah.
Yeah. Human trafficking is often called the hidden crisis, but the truth is it's not hidden at all. It's everywhere. Nearly 50 million people are victims today, and shockingly, 1 in 3 is a child. This is not just about the numbers. These are real lives, real children, robbed for their safety and future. Traffickers earn more than $150 billion around this crime every year. But what we can do as communities, as schools, and as individuals? The answer is a lot. First, raising awareness. Knowledge is power. When students, teachers, and families know what traffickers look like, they can spot the warning signs and protect the vulnerable. Even a single awareness program in a school can save lives. Second, advocacy. Our voice matter. Community that speak up push leaders to make stronger laws and protect survivors. Silence only help traffickers, but advocacy can change system. Third, community mobilization. Change happens when people work together. School, parents, NGO, and even neighborhood groups can join hands together to create safe spaces, support survivors, and keep watch against exploitation. And finally, online safety. As Pushplata ma'am said, media literacy. Today, traffickers don't just work on the street, they work online. Teaching young people how to stay safe on the internet, avoid suspicious links, and recognize grooming tactics is one of the strongest shield we can build. In the last, I must say that human trafficking is not only responsibilities of government or police, it's our shared responsibilities. Every voice, every action, every school, and every community can make a difference. Together, we can break this silence, protect the vulnerable, and build a world where every child is safe and free and hopeful for the future. Thank you. Over to Aarti, ma'am.
Well said, ma'am. It is not the responsibility of any government or any particular body. It's actually the responsibility of each and every individual. We all are social animals and we all are living in a society. So, of course, we are responsible for the making of that society. Raising awareness is absolutely important. Right now, we are raising awareness only. We are talking about it means we are making the doors open related to this content. And of course, online safety. Online safety is very, very important. We are in an AI world right now, and this digital exploration is going on side by side with exploitation. So this exploration and exploitation are going hand in hand. Idea here is that it is our responsibility to make our children understand what are the sensitive loopholes of it. So with this, we are going to end our discussion. Thank you so much to all the panelists for sharing valuable insights. And you may share your queries at abcteaching at 875@gmail.com. You can check the description box for all the important links. You may mark your attendance and get the certificate generation link after the completion of this session in the description box. Thank you so much to all the viewers who are contributing and watching this. And I hope these series are making a difference and support SDGs doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.